Hey everybody, what we got here is a meteor like the comet, typewriter. It's made in Germany. The guy I bought it from believed it was World War I era. They made these things from 1911 to 1925, but in 1922 they started calling them a Vansanta, which means spring, like the season. It's got a metal edge around the case. Nailed in, it looks like. The hinges broke off here that would lock it. Nice handle. A lot of metal here. Metal handle, metal lip edge, wooden case. It's got quite the slope cut to it. Must have been the design in 1911 or whatever. And then inside you got like two German engineering things that I don't know what these are here for, but they obviously serve some purpose. There's some kind of button receiver, I guess, for maybe, it must have been something that snapped in there, maybe a brush holder or something. Okay. Now, I got this German Meteor because I've got a Volkswagen Beetle, and I just thought it would be cool to have an old German. My Beetle, I got it running, but I had to take it in to get it running. I fought with it. It was fuel injected. I got it converted over to carburetor. I wanted to show you this outside, but we got Wisconsin winter, lousy rain, and, bad weather here, so I can't do this outside. But I'm smart enough to know that I'm not smart enough to fix this one myself. So I am going to take it in. I can do feet and stuff if I had them. The feet were hard rubber, broken, dead, old. So this thing, actually these two giant hooks are clamps that would hold it in the case. It rocks around because the feet are dead and gone. You've got two giant wing nuts in here that hold the typewriter down in the case on either side. So you just loosen the wing nuts, one on this side, one on this side, and then you can rotate the giant hook out of the way of the typewriter, like so, and now you can lift the thing out of the case. Now, let's do this. Let's get this out. Show you this case bottom here. Now, I had to look and look. Now, you see this is a nice recess in there. I mean, they did a nice job on this case. It's held up forever. It's held up. It's forever. I don't know what else I can say. It's amazing. Red material inside, black outside. They were doing something then. There's no information on the Meteor. There's written literature about them and where they were made. This one doesn't say made in Dresden on the front of it, Dresden, Germany. The Meteor 1 did. The Meteor 2, which I believe this is, doesn't say that. It just says Meteor, Meteor, Meteor in 3 places on it. And it gives you no information where it was made or anything else. You just have to, nothing. Unlike, it looks like a Corona 3, but it does not fold. There's people that said, oh, the Meteors are folding typewriters. They're not. This one is not, anyway. It's fixed. It's on each side. You see 2 screws. How the hell would you pivot on 2 screws? You can't, right? So already they're out of their minds thinking that would be folding. Anyway, you've got the lift height is different when you push number or cap. So no or cap is how it's labeled on here. So the number is the higher, cap is the lower of the 2 lifts. I'm just going to show you what I do know about this thing, because like I'm trying to say is everything that's written about them isn't the instruction manual or operator's manual. I can't read the German one anyway. Everything I've seen is just a picture of one or somebody talking about one or something like that, but no real hands-on this does that. Tell me G pushes the letter G. You got 3 characters on each type bar per whatever you're choosing to type. You've got a metal space bar. Okay, your space bar is metal. There's a real thin, fine spring. It's got a fat butt and a thinner top, and it goes on that stem, which goes through to the bottom. How can you see this? Here, so it looks like a circular head, which is rested inside that Oh, it does have a dead piece of rubber around it as well. So from the bottom up would be your rubber piece. Yeah. So they must just put it over it. Maybe a thick circular O-ring would pop on around it and make your bottom up stop. But from the top side, it is a thin frickin' spring around the. I want you to see this. Can you see it around that stem of the space bar? So it pushes the space bar back up. Thin spring. You've got your nickel plated or whatever key tops, you know, and glass inserts. My flashlight's wigging out. There's your ribbon vibrator dancing away there. So the routing for the ribbon, so you see how this spool, like we'll use this left one, you see how it's turning this away? So your ribbon would need to wind to the outside side of the spool. I'm calling it outside. You might think of it as inside, but it's going to the front side, we'll say. The front side of each ribbon spool. So I hand drew, after looking at some of these, I hand drew how the routing for your ribbon should go on one of these. Now the Meteor is just like the Vansanta, is just like, there's other names. I may have something written down here when I get to one of the pages, but it's not an Erica. It's not an Erica product. That's a different thing altogether, which is also made in Dresden. One of these Meteor typewriters was actually used. One of these Meteor typewriters is in the Warsaw Uprising Museum. Apparently, back in the printing days and all that, printers were in a workshop on Wspólna Street, and they were using it. So one of these is actually in a museum for the Warsaw Uprising. I know that. This machine in parts of Germany has also been known as the Forte type, but is not previously. So I found a picture on the internet of one and I printed it out. I've had to pretty much touch to learn what does what, though. So up here you've got a platen handle on each side of the platen. Now they didn't just think like one-sided. They gave you two platen handles. This here is your paper scale, which goes from 0 to 70 where it's numbered, but the length of the platen is beyond that. And if you do a pull of the platen length with a tape measure, the platen is actually 9 inches long from the edge to the inside edge here. The actual meat of the platen part is the 9-inch. Let's see. So they produced these Meteors till 1922. They went under some other names: Berlina, Doropa, Forte Type, Janus, Pagina, Wilson. The manufacturer was the Saxon Knitting Machine Factory, Meteor Dresden Lobtau, and in 1922 was renamed the Vansanta Schreib und Knitting Machine Factory and moved to Dresden North 15, and it gives a different address. So they were still in Dresden either way, they just moved. The Knitting Machine Factory versus this, well, they were a knitting machine factory all along. Okay. So it's kind of that equivalent of here with the sewing machine, you know, Remington's sewing machine and all that, and they were making typewriters, and Singer sewing machine, they made a freaking typewriter. This is your platen advance here. So if my arm was actually working correctly, it would be your platen advance. This one here pulls this arm, this toothed geared puller here of the teeth of the platen. Yeah, I don't know if I showed it, but you see the numbers on that paper scale up there? All the numbers, so it goes from 0 to 70. So you got a fixed paper rest. It doesn't fold in or anything. You got a platen a front feed roller here that's, you know, as long as, like that long from there to there on a spring tool. It's a long front feed roller. Oh, this light is hot down here. You got a lot of screws with this machine. There are screws all over the thing, and you know all of these do something. So I don't want to find out the hard way that I did something wrong there. Like I said, I'm going to take it in. Back here, you've got your carriage release. I don't know why this camera doesn't want to stay where I'm showing. This is the carriage release right here on the right side. You don't have one on the left side. You just got the one side carriage release thing. You see now here's your margin, or your margins. So when you squeeze, it's got a little spring between here. You squeeze the two sides and you can set your margin wherever you want. And you got a right side margin over there. Now, so if I carriage release, you can trip the bell. It's not very loud, but you see how that operates, and it's swinging. So it's this giant pendulum thing. There we go. And here you've got, on your left-hand side, you've got your margin release. So if you got to the end of the line and the margin hit, and you wanted to go further, you'd hit margin release, and then you can extend the carriage beyond. Pretty standard understanding stuff there. This here I don't understand. I don't know if it's because I have the broken drawstring, or if it's, I wouldn't think that, yeah, see, you know, the broken drawstring, so it's not a band or anything, but this, I think, adds tension, or, releases tension from the mainspring. I'm not certain on that. It's got 3 selections, but it would seem odd that this would take a bichrome ribbon, and you'd have a ribbon selector back here. I don't believe that's what that is. I do know that this is your lock for, if you put that down and you hit cap or number, that's your lock for the lift height, and then when you turn it off, it, you know, comes down. So that's your caps lock when you think about it, you know. That's what that does. But if you have it on, maybe we can see down in here just a little, because there's 1,010,000,000 screws that I want to show you if I can. See them all? They make a smiley face inside there. It's just 2 rows of hell inside the machine that you can't probably get at very easy. And then you've got this, you see the gear there? There's your escapement mechanism right there. So it's definitely something that, with no literature on it, I can't, even if I had the owner's manual, which I don't, because the guy that I found selling one doesn't ship to the United States, at least right now. He's selling reproduction ones, but he doesn't ship here. And I couldn't read German if I wanted to anyway. So, not in paper form. I can translate through a computer, of course, but... Alright, let's see what else I can tell you about these things. I like I said, I found nothing, nobody telling me what did what about these. So the guy I bought it from thought the serial number was 8896. I think it's 3896 and then a letter H after it on the bottom. I've been sitting in front of this hot lamp too long because I was just looking at it. I don't know if I showed you it or if I didn't or if I did, but if I did, sorry, I'll show you again. Right there is what I believe is the serial number on the bottom, and you see that letter H after it. So I don't know what that distinguishes, but if they only made them from 1911 till 1922, and this looks like a number 2, it probably is a 1920 or 1918. It's 100 years old either way. Let's see. Your publication. I found some pictures of the Vansanta on the internet, but you know, it just looks like it with a different name. The Erica made stuff like the Bijou that looks similar is not. That would have been made by Sidel and Nauman. They were also out of Dresden, and that means jewelry in French, you know? So, all these names mean something else than what you think. But I gotta take it in. So I just wanted to show you around the thing and what did what that I do know, and since maybe it'll help somebody. I'm guessing this is your single double space selector, but I don't quite know why it's so stuck. It must be something going on there. I just can't show you that part, but I'm assuming that's what that does. All right, everybody. Hopefully, if you come across one of these, you actually have some knowledge now on where to go with what. Take her easy.